Okay, hey guys. Okay, this is part 4 of my birth story and what I've been through the past 6 weeks. Green is 6 weeks today. Um, let's see. Um, I was scared to death to leave the house or leave the hospital. But I ate lunch and ended up leaving and doing all that. I was trying to breastfeed in the hospital. I really wanted to do that, but it didn't work out, and I'll explain that in a little bit. Um, so we go home, and I had always said I have a feeling that it's going to be the freaking hottest day of the summer on the day I bring my baby home, and not thinking that I was going to have him in August when he was due in September, but you know, it all whatever. So, and I'm so thankful that being born that early, he didn't have any breathing problems. He didn't have, nothing, no problems at all. And that was just such a miracle. He was 7 pounds, 20 inches long, and 4 weeks early. Like, seriously. He would have been 10 pounds and he would have been a giant baby if I would have carried him any longer. Uh, um, so, but we leave the hospital. It is 102 degrees. Yeah. In southern Indiana with the humidity, it was awful. It was horribly hot. But we get home, and my mom's here, and Steven's here, and my mother-in-law. They were all fantastic. And we had bought that new couch that has the two-sided recliner, thank God, because I slept on the couch for about, it was about a week and a half because I could not get out. I mean, I couldn't get in bed. I couldn't get off the couch by myself, anything. Um, I could barely walk at that point. I mean, it was just terrible. Um, and we ended up getting one of those co-sleeper things to put in between me and Steven on the couch to put Grant in so that I could get to him easily. Um, because the first night we had the bassinet pulled up and I couldn't see over the edge and I couldn't sit up enough to see in. So I ended up having like a mirror and I was like shining it in, trying to see him and all that, and it was just a mess. Uh, so we got that. So that was a lifesaver. And we ended up, doing what we could. And then that next week, on Wednesday, I went back to the doctor to have my staples removed. And it didn't hurt when I had my staples removed. But see, let me go back. On Saturday, no, Sunday. It was Sunday. That Sunday after I had him. So he was a week old. Um, I started getting the chills. I started running a fever. And I was like, oh my gosh, is this mastitis, from breastfeeding, or because my milk had came in, but it really wasn't a lot, and, or, what is going on with my body? It's just, so I was running, 100 fever or whatever, and of course, I freaked out, called the emergency line, and they had, Steven check the incision, and it didn't look inflamed or anything. So that went on, and they ended up calling me in antibiotics for that, thinking that it was mastitis. So then the next Wednesday, I went into the doctor to have the staples removed. Well, she said that it felt a little hot, but it really didn't look bad, or anything, and it really hadn't oozed much or anything. So I had my staples removed and was doing great. The next day, I was at home and I was doing stuff around the house and had energy, and I really wasn't lifting anything at all. I was just, doing what I could, because I was excited that I finally felt a little better and stuff. And I kept thinking, man, this thing is really, my incision was oozing a lot more. And they had put on the steri strips. Um, it was oozing a lot more than it should have been. So I asked Steven, I was like, can you look at my incision and make sure that it hasn't popped open? And he's like, okay. So he looked and he was like, oh my God, it has. And I was like, what is going on? And I mean, there was like yellow, I mean, it had to be pus or something everywhere. all over my belly, everything, because I couldn't see the lower part of my belly. Sorry, my computer did that again. Um, so I called the doctor, freaking out, and she's like, Shirley, it's not a big deal, and she called me in more medicine and stuff. I was on so much medicine. I was on pain pills. I was on just everything. And I think they were closed on Friday. So I had to wait until, no, they were closed on Monday. So I had to wait until Tuesday. They had called me in the strongest antibiotic, one of the strongest antibiotics you can get, and it's called Levaquin. That crap is oh, that stuff is awful. It's horrible, and I mean, not everybody has reactions to it like I did, but let's just put it this way. They warn you that, some people on it feel like they have bone cancer. Uh, my spine hurt, my neck hurt, my back hurt, everything hurt. It gives you hallucinations. It makes you have suicidal thoughts. It's bad stuff. And I didn't know this before I took it. It gave me hot flashes. Um, raised my anxiety level. It was just bad. So I ended up, but I took it for a week, and I had went back in that Tuesday, um, after my incision ruptured, and she was like, oh yeah, it's infected. Your incision's infected and everything. I was hysterical. I mean, I wasn't even the same person. I mean, it was bad. It was really bad. And she was more worried about my mental state than my physical at that point. It was really bad. I mean, I can't even stress, and I don't want bad comments from you guys about this, but I really thought I was going off the deep end. I mean, it was just, that's why I haven't done any updates at all, till now, because it got pretty bad. I mean, I didn't try to commit suicide or anything, but I mean, it was just that medicine messed me up. I thought several times Stephen was going to have to take me to call 911 or take me to the hospital, because I literally, at that point, thought I had like brain cancer or something, because my head hurt all the time. It was bad. Um, so at that point, there I was with a horrible infection, incision that had split open, um, you know, all kinds of stuff. So I also had told her that I thought I was getting postpartum depression, or that I had it. And I'm very aware of my body, I'm very aware of my mind, and it would never go to the places that it was going. Um, it was awful. It was the scariest, it is the scariest thing. So she put me on Zoloft, and I do not want negative comments, because I'm telling you guys this. Um, but 1 out of 8 women have postpartum depression, whether they realize it or not. And a lot of people don't know what they have. But I found a lot of people that have had it, and I want to talk about it, because people need to know that, I was Miss Sunshine. I've never had depression. I've never had issues with this. Um, and all of a sudden, I'm just not even the same person that I was. It was awful. And it started a week after I got home, and of course I was not sleeping or anything, and that was one of the major things. You need to get sleep, lots of it, and you need help. Um, and at that point, she put me on Zoloft, and she said it'll take 3 or 4 weeks to get in your system. And so I have been on that for 3 weeks now, 3.5, or 4, 3.5 weeks. Um, so it's helping. It's getting better, but I do have postpartum depression, so that's another thing I'm battling. It's been a hard road. It's been, that first month, September, was a hard month, and I can only pray that it gets better, and that things that are in my head go away, and that it just gets better. But it's a lot better than it was, and I know, some of you girls knew that I had it, and have been praying for me, and I really appreciate that. My infection is healed up, and there's not going to be any surgery. I'm not on any medication now, other than my Zoloft.